What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? It's your man Fire himself, Halfpint, once again, and or should I say, welcome back to your favorite gamer's bedroom. One of these days I'll get a cleaner environment. And today it is long overdue that we go ahead and talk about the brand new changes that came with the Subverse Betas. There's several new betas that came out that I've been able to talk about, so I wanted to go ahead and quickly go over some of those changes and ask your guys' opinion on those overall, and tell you guys what I'm feeling about Subverse so far. So be sure to let me know what you guys think down below. If you saw those live streams, you can go ahead and check them out. They're still on my channel. Highly recommend you check them out. Great. They've really gone in depth with changing these betas quite a bit, so check it out. Let me know what you think. I always want to hear your guys' opinions. One of my favorite things to do is just go back and read through your guys' comments. So please, don't leave me hanging. With that out of the way, don't be afraid to leave a like on the video or even subscribe for more content just like this. It goes a long ways for the channel, and try my best to grow the channel. So with the most recent Subverse betas, we've been able to go in and tackle these different enemy types and really see how these different factions function. You have the stereotypical regular guys you're going to fight. We fought these guys for that new boss battle that came in where you had to defend the base and destroy this huge ship that was coming in, right? Well, we fought those guys as a normal enemy type, and they function like an average run-of-the-mill. However, what caught my eye is when we fought the Cloy. The Cloy are these weird sort of pirates in space, from what I've gathered, and their AI act just the same. Their ships are really nasty in formation, and they're kind of dirty with their tactics. However, they've improved the AI quite a bit. When I've heard from Mr. Christoph, DC's been doing a lot of the work on the AI. Actually, want to clarify a quick mistake that I did end up making. DC didn't work on the AI. He worked on 95% of the soundtrack, which is another good thing about the game. I'm enjoying the soundtrack very much, so shout out to DC for that. It's actually Hungry JJ who's been working on the AI. So shout out to Hungry JJ for working on the AI. Also, again, big thanks to Mr. Christoph for stopping by the stream. It's always good to have him there. Any of the developers talking about their insight in the game, and he's just a good dude to have all around. So everyone give some love to Mr. Christoph down in the comment section down below. Loki! They've been improved quite a bit, so now they like surround the ship, and they have different flanking tactics. So it's not just some average bullet hell where they have different bullet types. Different bullet types are cool, as we've seen, but they've also been able to make sure these ships surround the player to ensure that there's a lot more diversity when it comes to combat, and it's not just a mindless shoot 'em up. The fact that you have these enemy types that like surround you in a particular manner, I mean, you can kind of placate to that to make sure that you run them into the asteroids, or it's not just constantly on the run or chasing after somebody else. There's a little bit more strategy to it. In the future, I look forward to see if they want to implement any more AI tactics to the game. We also fought two more factions, one known as the Imperiums, which were more the militaristic kind of guys. They're very slow, meticulous, but they have a lot of bigger bullets and a lot more ships that function like an actual military, right? They're very proper the way they're going to attack you. They want to make sure they assess the threat in the most efficient way possible to take them out. Unlike the other guys, which are just barraging bullets upon you, these guys will overwhelm you with more strategy. They have this particular ship, I think it's their Imperial ship, I believe, I might be wrong about that, where it actually spawns in bullets that like teleport and then track you and then jump after you, but they come in random locations where the player is currently at, instead of just spawning from the ship that's attacking you and just shooting it out like any other generic ship. It's kind of cool in that regard. And you have all these other smaller minor ships, but instead of firing a lot of bullets, they fire these slow balls of energy, I guess. I don't know. They're a lot more slow, meticulous. And it's a lot more interesting of a strategy when you have less fire on the screen, but you take more damage once you get hit by them. That's a lot more variety to it. And then there's these guys. Requital. The Requiti. Requital? I don't know. Mr. Christoph even told me in stream how to pronounce it, and I still, for the love of God, cannot pronounce these guys. I can't do it. I'm not good at it. It's not my strong suit. I'm sorry. Make fun of me in the comment section down below. You're welcome to. With that out of the way, though, these guys were probably my favorite out of the entire, like, of anything we fought so far. These guys are so unique with their firepower, with their ship types, with just everything. The way these guys shoot their weapons is like this weird weapon pattern with every single bullet that they fire. Every single one's different from the last. Whereas they have this one weird, unpredictable electrical attack, and then there's another one where they can throw like this almost like a capture rope is what you would see from like a pirate, for example, right? But when any of these bullets hit asteroids, it actually charges the asteroid, so you take damage if you get too close to it, which is super unique. They're using the environment to their advantage. These guys are less of a military, and they're more of just straight up terrorists. They're like space terrorists. Whereas the Khloe were just dirty pirates, these guys are more of the space terrorists that have where they have military weapons, but they're not prepared to use it because they're not an actual military force with strategy. They have these crazy weapons that are just gonna burn. I'm definitely a fan of how they have these guys worked out, and they're hands down my favorite. And even their big guys are different, whereas we've noticed that each faction has had these different big ships that they've tried their best to make sure they don't function the same, whereas the Imperials have a ship that spawns numerous enemies at once for one of its attack patterns, right? The R Gang, we'll just call them the R Gang, the space terrorist. These guys will absolutely dominate you with its huge ship, which fires lasers from the front and each side of the ship. But if you're not being attacked by these lasers, which take a slow while to charge up because these lasers do probably the most damage of any other laser in the game. They do the most damage. You don't want to get hit by these guys, but they're easier to dodge. However, when you're in between these attacks, it is an absolute bullet hell to dodge every other sort of firepower it's throwing at the player while dodging the laser. These guys are boss battle material. They're mini bosses, and you will not oftenly encounter these guys with other enemy types. They're vicious, they're deadly, but they're still fun if you ask me. But all in all, they're working a lot more on the different faction types. It's very exciting. I love seeing how they're adding new factions to the game, and I want to see what else they're going to be doing if they're still working on the AI. I asked Mr. Kristoff what the opinion of the developers are when it comes to the mindset of creating fun, unique encounters, or when it comes to just developing enemy types. And honestly, they said they go by the philosophy of they just have fun by testing. What is this like? Okay, let's go try that out and see how that works in game. Which is a very good philosophy. That was one of my favorite things about Bungie when they were developing Halo back in the day. They literally just tried different things, said that's kind of fun, does it work with the game though? And they just test different things that are fun. It's all about the gameplay. That's a satisfying way to create a good loop for the players to go through when it comes to gameplay, and I'm very excited to see what else they have planned for the future. These guys are definitely looking into what's important for the gameplay and what's just fun. So I'm very, very enthusiastic to see what other fun elements they're going to be adding to the game. If you guys have any ideas what you want to see in gameplay, be sure to let me know down below, and I'll try to echo chamber it, or you can join their Discord, link down below as well, and hop in there and you can talk with anybody. Talk with the community members, the developers. It's a great place where you can interact with anybody and everybody and try to help improve their game. It's very exciting stuff. Speaking of gameplay, we do have squad-based combat coming in the next few days. It's coming very, very soon. So be sure to hit the subscribe button so you can be here to see the squad-based combat when it comes out, because I'm going to be all over that like crazy. I'm going to be live streaming it like ASAP and all over it. So be sure to check that out for sure. Something else interesting that happened is how they were talking about the way they're going to be working with space combat during these certain story missions. I missed this in one of the newsletters because I've been covering it. By the way, if you want me to cover newsletters and news videos, be sure to let me know down below. One of the newsletters talked about how they had this story sequence. It's like you're going through this temple and there are environmental hazards you have to dodge. So it's not just these big open endless modes of fighting ships in space. You're also going down into these planets and navigating this ship through all these different areas with environmental hazards as well, trying to add more to the gameplay. So it's not just going to be bullet hell, bullet hell, bullet hell. Very interested to see what ideas they have up their sleeve. I know they're going to be banging out some surprises for sure, absolutely for sure. But other than that, that's really all I have for you guys today for the update. Beta was absolutely fun, had a good time. I know they're looking for feedback, how they can improve their game, but at the same time, it's pretty polished. It's kind of hard to find problems with the game, but I have been having an absolute blast with it, so I look forward to more of it in the future. If you guys have any feedback, if you were able to watch the live stream, let me know what you guys thought down below. It's good to be back. I'm ready for more Subverse content. Want to see if I can get on the daily content hype stream and get Subverse back into it. If you enjoyed the video, be sure to leave a like down below. Want to try to see if I can hit at least 100 likes for this particular video. Thank you all for watching a long time, but not a hard time. And I'll see you guys next time. Take it easy.